Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for coming back to another broadcast over here at the Ellis Network on YouTube and on SoundCloud as well. Now, last night where we left off, we were starting to get into this pamphlet called Overthrow. This video is part 2 of that segment. Yesterday we read the preface, got an idea of what the book was about, what this little pamphlet was about. Now we're actually going to start getting into it. This segment will only be the first part. It's 14 pages long. And there is an article that I will share in the description of these videos or the audio that you guys can click on to further look into what is tied into this as well. Alright, so anyways, let's go ahead and hop into it. Again, this is part 2. If you guys are just now stumbling along on YouTube or on SoundCloud and listening, you can go back in my channel yesterday and see part 1. I would strongly urge you to stop this recording right now and go to that part first. Listen to that one before you hop into this one. This way you guys all know what's going on. No one's confused. Alright, so anyways, let's go ahead and hop back into this. And this is where the actual pamphlet starts at page 1. Again, I said the pamphlet's 44 pages long. So let's go ahead and look into it, see what it's saying. You guys know me. I'll stop once in a while, drop my opinions. So I can't promise you how long this video will be. Alright, so Barack Obama smiled for the media and seemed sincerely cooperative as he met with his successor in the Oval Office. You guys remember, everything looked, they looked like they were good. However, if you're watching where they first shook hands, you can see the little hostility there. But, from what we've seen, it looked like it was peaceful, but very, very well it was not. He worked with Republicans throughout the presidential transition process, but behind the scenes, Obama was using U.S. government resources to plot against President-elect Donald Trump. Evidence now strongly suggests that he worked with the forces of Hillary Clinton to promote the conspiracy theory that Trump colluded with Russia to change the results of the November election. Again, now we have the Russia dossier, which President Trump, again, we all know right now in this time, has won this election, beat all odds, and they're still on that witch hunt for Russian collusion with President Trump. And information's coming out that actually it shows that Democrats within the Clinton Foundation and Obama's administration was actually the ones that were colluding with Russia all along. It's funny. Sort of like, you being the guilty ones accusing the innocent ones. Same as a relationship, it's always the one that's went out and cheated is accusing the person of cheating. What's happening in the country as resistance hunkers down is a rolling coup attempted, according to cultural observer Michael Walsh, organized by elements of the intelligence community and abetted by Obama-era handovers in the unstaffed Justice Department and the leftist media. Who's the leftist media? CNN, some of Fox News, and most of the news networks that we grew up here in America grew up to trust and believe. And when we see how fair and how unbiased it always was attacking Trump, is when a lot of Americans woke up and said, what the fuck? That's just my opinion. I'm sorry, not politically correct. I probably shouldn't swear, but I'm not a professional like this, guys. You get what you get when you come here. The offensive against Trump clicked into high gear after National Security Advisor Mike Flynn, a retired Army general and arch foe for Islamophobic, was forced out of the critically important role less than a month into Trump's presidency over claims that he had lied about his conversations with the Russian ambassador to the U.S., Sergei Klausov. Now, we've heard of that name before. We've talked about Russia. We talk about their embassies, their ambassadors, talking to Nikki Haley in the UN and stuff that they've said about Syria with the United States and stuff that they're saying. They're even saying stuff about the United States to this day in North Korea. So, no doubt, that's all going on. It's not as if we know what actually happened with Flynn and the Russians at this point, or if there is any contact at all. News reports based on leaks about an alleged contact don't quote any on the record sources. So they're taking these sources whether or not they're being hearsay or whatnot, and no one's doing their job to properly vet this information. They already got half the media, or not half the media, but half the population of the United States so fucking brainwashed to the point to where you will believe whatever they say. Fuck vetting, fuck the truth. We already got you brainwashed. You already know, us. We're the safe, we've been here your whole life. We're CNN. We're the world's news. Why not? Why not? Again, you can easily tell, if CNN was doing their job properly and any other major news network out there was doing their job properly, I don't think I would have been doing this, bringing up current events and opinions. Because, there's so many people out there that's being brainwashed. So many people that's just walking around in a haze and wants to believe the first thing they hear. But they don't want to take the initiation to go out and do the research themselves and form their own opinion. They get on Facebook and see their friends sharing an article, which was fake news, bullshit, unsourced, unvetted, and they're agreeing with that's what they're seeing, and they share it, and their friends are sharing it, and their friends, next you got a big web of nasty, smelly lies. And then you have where Trump supporters and actual truth people that show the facts and show the opinions, we're the ones that's being, talked down on as like we're the fake news. I mean, come on. An alleged Russian conspiracy to put Trump in the White House has never made such sense, given the fact that Hillary Clinton and her replacement, former Senator John Kerry, let Putin get away with so much mischief in the world. Why would Russia President Vladimir Putin want to put an unknown quantity like Trump in the White House? Clinton could reasonably be expected to more or less follow the footsteps of Barack Obama, who in 2009 had killed President Bush's missile defense program for the Czech Republic, Hungary, and Poland. Then he renegotiated a new START nuclear arms agreement, which curbed the U.S. missile defense arsenal while letting the Russians add to theirs. Do you guys even know the count of Russian nuclear warheads compared to U.S.? I know it's by a couple thousand. All right, I know Russia has a couple more thousand nukes than the United States does. I don't see how our military is so great when we're, weapons that are designed to protect us are being taken away. Do you guys remember Obama coming out a couple years ago saying that he was going to start defunding our military? You guys remember that whole spiel? I want to say about 2013, maybe 2014, maybe even sooner than that. But President Barack Obama, and I hate that I'm calling him president, Barack Obama defunded the U.S. military. Look it up. It happened. In March 2012, Obama was caught on an open microphone telling then Russian President Dmitry Medvedev to wait until he had been reelected when he would be able to make an even more concessionist on missile defense. And Obama did virtually nothing but talk when Putin invaded Ukraine. So Barack already knew he was going to get reelected. He already knew that. He said, yo, dog, just wait till I'm reelected. Like, well, maybe if I don't get reelected, I'll make sure the next person, is on board with this. Nothing of that. He knew automatically. Just wait till I get reelected and we'll deal with this. Kind of sounds like, this is the play. Like President Trump beat them in their own game. And they're pissed. They are pissed. That's all it is. He already thought that he already knew he was going to get reelected. And just this time around, they thought Hillary was going to take over and follow Obama's footsteps. Just saying. Obama's plotting against Trump both before and after November 8, 2016. Sounds very interesting. Is the kind of authoritarian conduct one might expect of a Latin American Caudillo. Not the supposed leader of the free world, perhaps we should not be surprised. A rigid, ideological, determined to bring America down from its lofty, and in his views, underserved perk among the nations of the world. Obama supported the violent Occupy Wall Street and Black Lives Matter movement. He even honored many of the pro-cop killer black nationalist militants from Black Lives Matter by inviting them repeatedly to meet him in the White House. Kind of like he, and again, what I'm about to talk about, we'll get into this as well. The shadow government, it sounds like he's putting his people into place to start doing, all this chaos. Just my opinion. Just, let's read on. A legendarily thin-skinned hater who bears grudges, Obama has never taken criticism or rejection well. He gets butthurt easy. And Donald Trump was unsparing during the 2016 campaign in his promise to undo the Obama legacy. And so it should have not surprised anyone that the transition, despite the immockable appearances, was the roughest, nastiest transition in memory, made so by Obama. You guys remember all those stuff that was coming out that was leaking or being called fake news or conspiracy theories, about some $1 billion going off to Saudi Arabia the day of, and they actually caught it and froze it. He did some shady shit. Instead of taking up residence on a golf course in a gated community in his native Hawaii, the former president rented a massive walled mansion in Washington Embassy Road to head the opposition to Trump. It's never been seen. In past presidents, they usually pack their bags and leave Washington and just go off and live a happy, peaceful life. His White House alter ego fellow Chicagoland operator Valerie Jarrett lives in the house with him as Obama, ignoring the results of Election Day, is building what best-selling investigative journalist Edward Klein calls a shadow government. So this Valerie is living with Obama and Michelle. I don't know if he's lucky to have two women living. No, I'm joking. Because despite of what the president said on his press conference, he's in a sense of outrage over the incoming Trump administration, which he thinks is going to wipe out his legacy. So he's setting up this kind of almost an insurgency. He's picking up people in foreign affairs, labor, abortion, union matters. He's setting them up to start appearing on television, making speeches, doing op-ed pieces. For the first 4 years, you're going to see not only a Trump administration, but you're going to see a shadow government opposing the Trump administration. What do you think we've been seeing? We've already know this. We already know that there's a secret coup going on to take him down. Now they're just talking about, they're now again talking about impeachment. And they're talking about using the 25th Amendment. Talking about that he may be not healthy enough. 25th Amendment, you could sit there and say that he's crazy all you want. 25th Amendment doesn't stop that. It stops a president from being able to serve due to an injury. Whether or not he had a heart attack or a stroke, if he can't physically. It doesn't say anything about mental health. So go ahead and try to use the 25th Amendment to impeach our president. Not going to happen. If it happens, buckle up. That's all I'm going to say. As Klein told Fox News Channel soon after the election, Obama established his headquarters. Again, we've never seen this from past presidents. Because despite of what the president said on his press conference, he's in a sense of outrage over the incoming Trump administration, which he thinks is going to, oh wow, I read that already. Okay, I'm sorry guys. See, this is my problem. I can't focus. Obama's handpicked choice, Tom Perez, won the chairmanship of the Democratic National Committee, or the DNC, in late February 2017. A move that allowed Obama to consolidate his grip over the party apparatus. What the former president has done is unprecedented. American ex-presidents do not stay behind in Washington, D.C. to undermine their successors. Even failed presidents like Jimmy Carter, who has occasionally taken shots at his successors, didn't stay planted in the nation's capital to obstruct and disrupt the new administration. But just as he was unlike any president before him, Obama plans to break with a tradition that has led ex-presidents to gracefully withdraw from the political scene. From his Embassy Road Command Center, less than 2 miles away from the White House, Obama plans to endorse, campaign for, and raise funds for suitably radical candidates. and create a training facility for grassroots organizing within his foundation. He has already given his blessings to the National Democratic Redistricting Committee, an organization founded in January 2017 by his former Attorney General Eric Holder to encourage reverse gerrymandering of congressional districts to favor Democrats. After the 2016 election, with weeks left in office, Obama laid out his plan. He used inconspicuous-sounding language in a friendly interview with political strategist David Axelrod, his longtime friend and advisor. With respect to my priorities when I leave it, is to build that the next generation of leadership, organizers, journalists, politicians, I see them in America. I see them around the world, 20 years old, 30 years old, who are just full of talent, full of idealism. And the question is, how do we link them up? How do we give them the tools for them to bring about progressive change? Using soothing language in his farewell address, the Chicagoland politician clothed his future role in American society in moral garments as he tried to cast himself as an unifying figure. You guys remember that speech, right? His farewell speech. It falls to each of us, that those who are anxious, jealous guardians of our democracy, to embrace the joyous task we've been given to continually try to improve this great nation of ours. Because of all of our outward differences, we in fact all share the same proud title. The most important office in democracy, citizen. Citizen. Always obsessed with race, Obama lied in the address, claiming that he did his best to improve race relations. After my election, there was talk of a post-racial America, he said. And such a vision, however well-intended, was never realistic. Race remains a potent and diverse force in our society, which I don't remember racism being that bad. I mean, we knew racism was there, but it wasn't brought out into the main spotlight, like the main light, until all of this. Really. Obama has harnessed race as an issue precisely because he knows how potent and diverse a force it is in America. During his presidency, he created racial policies that jeopardized 50 years of civil rights advances, reckoning that racial crisis would help advance his agenda. He created turmoil and chaos and didn't hesitate to spawn race riots. He even blamed 5 Dallas cops for their own murder in 2016 at the hands of Michael Xavier Johnson, a Black Lives Matter-inspired sniper. At the memorial service, Obama lectured grieving relatives and colleagues, defended Black Lives Matter, bashed police, and pontificated about how racist Americans and American institutions, particularly the police, are. And that's where the whole idea of, black people being treated unfairly by police officers. I mean, guys, that's all we know. That's all mainstream media will talk about. It's the negative. The negative, the negative, and the negative. There's plenty of white people that's getting shot and killed by cops too. Plenty. CNN's not telling you guys that. So you know what? It's a racial problem. Again, brainwashed, guys. Brainwashed. During his presidency, Obama promoted the fiction that things such as Michael Brown of Ferguson, Missouri, were innocent angels unjustly cut down by the white executioners. Cop says, stop, stop. You reach in to a cop car, attacking him. After you was told multiple times to stop, you're a threat. I've told you to stop and you came personally into my space. You're a threat. Meanwhile, the black community, while Obama claimed to champion, become worse than ever. Income and employment were down on his watch as food stamps dependency soared. The national economy, which affects all races, hobbled along at anemic European rates, while the national debt roughly doubled. No wonder Obama, while posing as a high-minded guardian of civil virtue, set his sights on Donald Trump. The incoming president had not only made Obama's political malfunctions the fulcrum of his campaign, but intended to make purging of bombingism the emphasis of his entire presidency. Although Donald Trump's personal eccentricities probably contributed to his problem, during his first 100 days. The bulk of his pathological hostility he has faced has been generated by Obama, his allies, and his army of activists. Black Lives Matter, Antifa, protest, rioting. Alright, so now we're going to get into a couple instances of things that has happened to Trump supporters publicly. Listen, a gang of Trump-hating black youths kidnapped and tortured a disabled young white man in Chicago. Y'all remember that? It was huge, live on Facebook. It was broadcasted live on Facebook. In a video clip, the attackers shout, "Fuck Donald Trump," and "fuck white people too." Happy Days and Joni Loves Chachi actor Scott Baio claimed that Nancy Mack, the wife of the drummer from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, physically assaulted him in early December 2016 at his child's elementary school for having endorsed Trump at the Republican National Committee in front of your children. Excuse me. Comedian T.J. Miller was arrested December 9th, 2016 in Hollywood, California after allegedly slapping Uber driver Wilson Dion Thomas III during an argument about President-elect Donald Trump. Miller accused Thomas of being a Trump supporter and hit him in the head as he was driving. The driver is suing. On November 16th, 2016, a 15-year-old Trump supporter wearing a "Make America Great Again" hat was battered by other students. WTOP radio in Washington, D.C. reported they jumped him and beat him up pretty bad. According to a witness, this happened during an anti-Trump walkout protest march from a high school in Rockville, Maryland. Now, we've seen schools, middle schools, high schools, stopping and disrupting education to go out and protest in a street for an outcome that you're not even old enough to use your own voice. I remember me being a kid, I had to wait till I was 18 to be able to vote. If I wanted, I didn't even have a voice back then. You want a voice, wait till you're 18, get the right education, and then go out there and do something to change it. I mean, I understand you all are Americans as well, but you don't have no legal guardianship until you're 18 years old of your own self. It doesn't matter if you're 17 years old, 363 days old. You're still owned by your mama or your daddy or whoever your guardian. Till you hit 18 and you can go out and do what you want, get your cigarettes, blah, blah, blah. Then you're able to vote. Then you have a fucking voice. Clear? I mean, that's my opinion. Around November 15, 2016, Cameron Massey was beaten up outside a Boston bar for supporting Trump. WHDH7 News reported. The assailants called him a racist and punched him in the face and the back of the head as he left the bar. Overnight, November 14, 2016, 2 vacant homes in Tampa, Florida were spray painted with anti-Trump messages. WTSP reported the graffiti consisted of "Fuck Trump, Burn Everything," and BLM, presumably a reference to the Black Lives Matter movement. Even if these guys wasn't part of Black Lives Matter movement, can you guys see the problems that they are causing? I mean, they're out there doing chaos and tagging it as Black Lives Matter, even if they may have not been there. But everyone just loves the idea of, hey, you know what, let's go be some little radicals. Yay. Mitchell Mormon Jr. was shot to death on November 12, 2016 in Atlanta, Georgia, after expressing support for Trump, according to WSP-TV. On the same day, rocks, bricks, and bottles were hurled at police during an anti-Trump protest in Indianapolis, Indiana. Heavy reported that one. Portland, Oregon emerged as the violent epicenter of the post-election protests. Anti-Trump activists caused a riot on November 10th, 2016 that lasted for days and led to more than $1 million in damage, one person being shot, projectiles including glass bottles and road flares, and crews were being attacked. Black Lives Matter was heavily involved in the demonstrations in Portland and across America. Again, we've seen this plenty of times. I think you can go back in my channel history over here on YouTube. And I brought up some of these protests where Black Lives Matter. I know we did some coverage for November 4th with Antifa, which was, that was a laughing stock. But we've done, other protesting and other rioting that's happened within this time frame on my channel. So you can go back and think about, we're talking about all the way back into, well, these go all the way back to the election. I didn't start my YouTube channel until about April. So why don't you go ahead and just start back at the very beginning of my channel and just scroll up. I mean, I only got like 200 something videos. So it's not going to take really a whole lot of time to get to it. But they're all worded. You can clearly tell what's going on in them, and if you guys want to see them. NBC affiliate KGG reported that reported that of the 112 taken into custody by a Portland police bureau, at least 69 of them, listen to this, 69 of them either didn't turn in a ballot or weren't registered to vote in the state at all. Being bussed in. Let's bust them in. Alleged anti-bullying activist Sakara McLaurin, 23, was involved in a shouting match with Trump supporter James Durkan, 74, during an anti-Trump November near Trump Tower in Manhattan. The New York Daily News reported McLaurin shoved the Trump fan to the ground, opening up a gash on the back of his head, cops said. Cops took McLaurin into custody without incident. She was charged misdemeanor assault and harassment, police said. In Chicago, David Wilcox was beaten and dragged down on a street with the hands jammed in a car window. An angry mob accused him of supporting Trump. Breitbart reported that one. You voted Trump, damn! An off-camera voice screams in a video of an incident while others say, you're going to pay for that shit, and beat his ass. Another laughs at the man is beaten, saying, don't vote Trump. In another video in the same event, a rap song, Fuck Donald Trump, plays as two black men punched and kicked the white victim. So who's being the violent one here? Who's really the threat to America's national security? It's not President Trump. It's the people that's being violent, that's being corruptive, that's the viruses of America. It's these people who's the violent ones. These are the ones that's putting American security at risk. The Daily Caller added that the Wilcox did vote for Trump, but his attackers didn't know that when they assaulted him. They assumed that he did because he was, as put it, a white boy. When the incident was discussed on CNN, Simon Sanders, who national press secretary for the Bernie Sanders presidential campaign, mocked Wilcox, saying, oh my goodness, poor white people. Poor white people. Labels. I get it. White people, black people. Labels. That's all it is. Fucking labels. And they did it because he was a white boy. They didn't know he voted for Trump. But hey, you're a white man. You're automatically voting for Trump. Blah, blah, blah. You racist piece of shit. Let me beat your fucking ass. Student Jane Omarno of Woodside High School said Woodside, California, was beaten up at school for the day after the election for expressing support for Trump on her Instagram account on election day, saying, I hope he wins. KTVU reported that cell phone video shows another female student approaching the girl and taking off her glasses before she starts hitting the girl in the head. Repeatedly say, fuck you, bitch. The attack said Omano's support for Trump was proof she hated Mexicans. Again, just because we support Trump does not prove that we hate anything. We love America's traditions. Don't mean we hate, we hate a certain group. Just because I voted Trump, it doesn't mean I hate black people. I voted Trump. I don't hate Mexicans. I don't hate Muslims. I just hate the people that come over here and take advantage of what my country has to offer. And then average, everyday Americans that are struggling can't get the fucking help that we need from our own fucking government because they're not doing its job to cater to other illegal immigrants coming into this fucking country and giving you guys the fucking red carpet. That's what it is. This is far from the exhaustive list, and these attacks are far from isolated incidences. Former President Obama, otherwise such an advocate of civility and amenity, did not denounce any of these. or criticize the pattern they represented. So that's the end of part 2. And guys, I know I messed up a lot reading this. I'm sorry. I'm going to get better at reading this. But anyways, part 2, check the comments in the section. And I'll see you guys.